The lesson when there's a communication breakdown: keep going. Keep going. Figure out where the communication broke down and figure out how to not do it again. It's really hard to take it and say, oops, my bad, I'm so sorry, I didn't communicate it well enough, or I left it out of the contract, or whatever. You have to really be sincere and be honest and apologize, and then let it go. But remember, the next time you do it, that you really have to slow down. I know you get anxious because you want to get that money through the door, and so sometimes that causes you to overlook things, or your brain's going in so many different directions that you don't slow down enough to consider all that there is to consider in a contract, or all that you talked about in your initial meetings. You can't over communicate, in my opinion. If you have talked about it, then you need to write it down and make it very clear, the instructions for what you're doing. This particular line of work, you never have 2 days the same. So repeating into a system sometimes becomes not possible. But on the other side of that, you can preempt a lot of stuff just simply by paying attention to what's being said and making sure that everybody is clear on it. Now, when you have 3, 4, 5 people in the mix, sometimes that does become difficult, and you think you communicated it to the right person, but it may not be the right person, may not be the decision maker, or just because you got it out of your head and told somebody doesn't mean that that's the right person. Or here's one that happened to us recently. The other people don't listen. So you have to do more than one way of communication. You have to do 2 or 3 ways, and then it has to be consistent with each other. It's hard. It's very, very hard. But the lesson here is to slow down and make sure all parties involved have all of the information. A lot of times you'll be talking to a client and they're nodding their head like they understand, but probably they don't. Clients don't know some of the terminology that we talk about. They may act like they know, or they may have heard it on HGTV or whatever and think that they know, but just assume that they know nothing. Every single time, assume that they know nothing. And when you're having your discussions, take good notes, or audio record it, or video record it. Make sure you get permission to do that first, just so everybody can be clear on what is happening. You can get in a hurry so much that you forget to do some of those steps. I know, I've been there. I've done it. I've even done it recently. After being in the business for many, many years, it still happens. Part of the problem was the person wasn't listening that I was telling the information to. Part of it was I myself didn't capture all of the information and make it known. So it is a difficult process. I realize that, and I'm not trying to tell you to do something that you are not capable of doing. You can do this. You just have to remember to slow down and write it all out. Record it if you can, and then write it all out. Take your time and make sure everybody knows the information so that there aren't any crosswires, or at least that doesn't mean it's absolutely going to prevent it from happening, but do your very, very best. And the responsibility of that communication is on you, not the client. It's on you. It is your responsibility to make sure that the message you are trying to communicate is heard and understood. It can be tough, I know. I know. I've been there. I know.